Namaste, hello again friends. Today we are getting into some Yin Yoga goodness. So if you've never practiced Yin Yoga before, that's perfectly fine. I'm so excited for you to learn it. It's one of my favorite practices. So Yin Yoga is a combination of the traditional Indian Hatha style yoga and also some principles of Chinese Taoism. So this idea of the yin and the yang, there's a little bit of Chinese herbalism that goes into the philosophy behind Yin Yoga. So it's really this beautiful deep dive into traditional philosophical ideas that's really, really juicy and really fun to get into. In our physical Yin Yoga practice, it's all about longer holds of fewer postures. Yin Yoga is really good for relaxation. It's really nice to just restore at the end of a long day, or if you are prone to busybody syndrome, then Yin Yoga is a really wonderful practice for you as well. So without further ado, I'll see you on your mat. So for your Yin Yoga practice today, you're going to want 2 yoga blocks or something similar. So really thick books or even pillows could work. You just want something that you'll be able to put a little bit of pressure on and it won't fold or buckle underneath you. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position here, whatever that looks like for you. We're just going to take a few moments to settle into our breath, just like we would at the beginning of a vinyasa practice. So drop your palms onto your knees here, sit up nice and straight, and go ahead and close your eyes. Take a big full breath in through your nose. Let it out through your mouth. We'll do 2 more just like that. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Last one, big full inhale. And exhale. Allowing yourself to settle here into your seat and into your Yin Yoga practice. So giving yourself the time to create some space between you and your day, and allowing yourself to fully arrive and become present here on your mat. And it's okay if we take our time. It's okay to be slow. It's one of the core practices of our Yin Yoga practice, is the slow and steadiness. Just take a few breaths here, settling into your seat, settling into your breath. Inhaling fully and exhaling completely. Let's go ahead and take 3 more big full breaths here on your own. On your next inhale, you can softly bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra here. Let your chin slightly tuck, lengthen the back of your neck as you soften your shoulders. And call to mind, call to heart your sankalpa, right? That heart's intention that we set at the very beginning of the week together. Notice if you feel any differently about your sankalpa now as opposed to on Monday. Right? Has it shifted at all? Do you feel any closer to living in truth with your sankalpa? And if you don't, that's also completely okay. I just notice where you sit with that right here, right now. Take 1 more big full inhale and let it out. Let all of that go. You can softly release your hands and open up your eyes. Welcome to your yoga practice. So So our very first pose, we're going to use our blocks here. We're going to take a supine Baddha Konasana, or supported bound angle pose. So your two blocks will come to the two edges of your mat. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open wide. Now, it depends on how open your hips feel today. That's going to decide how high you want your blocks. Your blocks can be all the way up to the tippy top level. That's perfect. Or maybe somewhere in the middle feels good to you. I prefer the medium level here. And from there, once you're in a position that's comfortable for you, you're going to lay yourself on back. Good. Once you're laying fully on your back here, you can get yourself comfy. Right? Allow yourself to wiggle and settle. Right? This is our very first yin posture. We want to be completely comfortable. I'm going to bring my blocks down a level because I'm finding in my body that I have a little bit more space today. And then once you settle onto your back, let's go ahead and bring one hand onto your belly and one hand onto your heart here. Bring some softness behind your eyelids. You can even if it feels good to you. And then we're just going to settle our bodies around this shape and breathe here. Our Yin Yoga practice is much slower style practice that we took at the beginning of this week. Our Yin Yoga practice is all about dropping into your body through your breath. So as we settle into this pose here, as you settle into stillness, you can begin to bring your awareness to your breath. Notice the inhales on the inside of your nose, and notice the exhales, maybe a bit warmer. Inhaling fully, exhaling deeply. Maybe noticing the movement of the belly and of the chest with your breath here. We're invited to let the pose do the work for us here. So you just settle into your breath and create some space for your body. Don't forget to keep the muscles around your face, your forehead, and your jaw. Keep them soft. Keep them light. And just keep your breath steady here. That's the only thing you have to do. Just keep your breath steady. Maybe we can begin to reflect on our week here together. Just look back and whatever memories, thoughts, or feelings float to the surface from these past 7 days. And just notice them. Maybe you have a few things that you're really grateful for. Maybe you have some new things that you learned that you're so excited to try. And give yourself the time to receive and integrate all of the information from this week. And let's take one more full breath in here together and sigh it out. You can softly open your eyes, draw your knees back together, bring your feet to the mat. Go ahead and gently roll yourself over to one side. Take your time. Knees can draw in towards your chest. You can even lay down on your forearm for a breath. And then we'll slowly press ourselves up to a seated pose. We really want to emphasize the slow movement between these postures here. So you can set one of your blocks off to the side, keep one nearby. Extend your right leg out long and bring your left foot in towards your right thigh. We're going to take a Janu Shirshasana yin variation here. So as we open our chest up towards the right leg, you can give a soft bend into the knee if it feels better for you to do so. Then you're going to take your block on top of your thigh here. You're going to have to hold it while you make your way down. Take an inhale breath to sit up nice, tall, and strong through your spine. And then as you exhale, curl through your spine, round through your chest, and bring your forehead onto your block. Once you are in a position where your block is going to stay still and support your forehead, you can release both hands down by your sides, palms open to the sky here. This is a much different variation of our Janu Shirshasana than in our Vinyasa practice. Right? There's not as much reaching forward. There's not a whole lot of muscular energy being used here. And that's good. That's what we want in our Yin Yoga practice. We want softness. We want subtle. We want to allow ourselves to get out of the way and let the pose and let gravity do most of the work for us. So as you breathe into this pose here, maybe take a mental scan of your body. Notice if there are any areas of heaviness, there are any areas of tension, of tightness, of gripping. See if you can let that go with an exhale, wherever it is. Maybe it's some softness across the backs of your shoulders. Maybe it's releasing the grip on that left hip. See if you can consciously release and open up to this posture. And bring your hands back to your block and slowly sit yourself back on up. We take ourselves slowly over to the second side. Draw your right knee in and extend your left. Right foot into left thigh. Again, bending the knee if you need to a little bit. Open your chest up to the left. Bring your left toes up towards the ceiling. Place your block on your knee. Use your breath. Inhale, sit up nice, tall and strong, and exhale. Begin to make your way down. Support where you can balance your block and your forehead. And then releasing your hands down around your left knee, palms open to the sky. And find that softness, find that surrender into the posture here. We can use our breath to help us explore these poses here in our yin practice. We do so by using an inhale to cultivate space, to sort of clear out maybe areas of tension, resistance that we notice. And then on the exhale breath, we imagine that we could release all of that from our body, as if you were pressing it out with your air. You are sending everything that you don't need to be holding on to. You're sending it out into the air with your breath here. So if at any point anything comes up, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, if anything comes up that you're ready to let go of, feel free to open your mouth and sigh it out. And then you can gently bring your hands back up to your block and slowly sit yourself up. Take your block over to the side. Go ahead and bring yourself both knees in towards your chest. Allow yourself to just sit nice and tall. Let both side bodies neutralize here for a breath. Remember, we're honoring this slow and really conscious movement between poses. So we're going to bring ourselves next onto hands and knees in tabletop pose. And loosen up your spine. Take just a little bit of movement in between all of our stillness. So palms under shoulders, knees under hips as you inhale. Drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your chest, cow pose. And then exhale, round it on in, cat pose. Send your heart up nice and high towards the sky. Inhale, belly drops, heart lifts. Exhale, heart to the ceiling. Press the mat away with your hands. Take 2 more rounds just like that. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Last one. Good. And then we'll come back to tabletop pose. Go ahead and grab your block again. Bring it towards the front of your mat. We're going to take puppy pose. So for this pose, extend your palms long to the very top of your mat, palms on the mat, and your arms are extended. As you keep your arms stretched out long, reach your hips towards the back of the mat as you begin to reach your forehead towards the mat. Now, if your forehead doesn't get all the way to the floor here, this is where you can use a block. Bring it underneath your forehead, your arms stay extended, and you can rest your forehead on your block while your hips stay nice and high. But if you have some extra space in the backs of your shoulders today, maybe you can get your forehead all the way to the mat, and this will be your pose. So wherever you are, go ahead and settle yourself in. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever works for you. And in this pose, we let our shoulder blades draw together down our back and melt your heart towards the floor. You still feel that nice length in the back of your hips, reaching up and back, and helping you kind of create more space in the backs of your shoulders here. So go ahead and take a full breath in to prepare. Exhale, settle in, let it go. Coming into stillness in this posture, creating any sense of relaxation and spaciousness that we can. Use your breath. Maybe noticing with each breath how you can sink just a little bit deeper into the posture. One more big full inhale here. Let it go. Go ahead and slowly lift up out of your shoulders. Take your time. When you're ready, bring your palms back underneath your shoulders. Go ahead and round your spine. Take the cat pose. Big C curve in the spine as you draw your chin in towards your chest. Breathe into the back of your shoulders. Good, we'll go ahead and come back to neutral. Take your big toes together, knees open out wide, and as you exhale, sit on back towards your heels, take child's pose. Now you can keep your hands in a bit closer to your face for this child's pose, so we're not still extending in the shoulders by reaching towards the top of your mat. Go ahead and give your shoulders a break. And maybe bend your elbows, bring your fingertips in towards your face a bit here. Maybe feel free to even take one cheek onto the mats. Allow yourself to settle onto your hips. Take a few breaths here. Reminding yourself that it is okay to take the time that you need to restore yourself. There is nothing selfish about taking care of yourself. We can see our practice and this self-care wave as a way of radically producing love to share with others in our life. And go ahead and switch your gaze, take your opposite cheek onto the mat. And take a few breaths on this side. Let's go ahead and slowly bring your forehead back to the mat. Take your time to press yourself up. Come up off of your heels. We're going to press into your palms, tuck your toes. We'll come into downward facing dog here. Let's release the backs of your knees just a little bit. So bicycle, pedal out into one leg and then the other. Sashay your hips side to side. Maybe even wiggle your neck around, shaking your head yes and no. Create just a little bit of movement here in your body. Good. Let's inhale, come to stillness. Find some strength, grounding your palms into the mat. Inhale, breath, left leg lifts up high in the sky. Behind you, three-limb dog. And as you exhale, let's set up for pigeon pose at the front of your mat. So draw your knee to the left, ankle to the right. Go ahead and lay yourself on down. So this is a pose that we visited in our Monday class, but in our yin variation, we're going to spend a little bit more time here. So feel free to bring that left heel in towards your right hip point. If that takes some of the tightness, some of the pinchiness out of your left hip. You can also bring one of your yoga blocks and place it underneath your left hip, if that feels good to you. You can take your second block, bring it out in front of you. Take an inhale, reach your heart open towards the ceiling, and on your exhale, let's go ahead and fold forward. Now, maybe you're just resting on your elbows, right? Letting your forehead rest on your block. This is a perfect place to be. If you have some more space and you can lay yourself all the way down onto your belly, that's another option. But know that it takes quite a few years of practice to find that much openness in your hips, so don't feel the need to press yourself all the way down onto your belly if it doesn't feel good to you. And our yin practice is supposed to be nourishing and supposed to be a place where we can relax, right, and just let go. So don't feel the need to press and push and do more here in your yin practice. And allow yourself to just breathe and be here. So wherever you've chosen to meet this pose here, go ahead and bring yourself into some stillness. Begin to focus on your breath and see if you can start releasing the tension, the grip, the resistance that might be coming to the surface in your body here. Let's go ahead and take one more deep breath in, fill up with air, take all that resistance, all that tightness and tension, and exhale, press it out. And we'll softly lift your head up off your block or the floor, wherever you were. Press into your palms and slowly make your way back to downward facing dog. You can walk your back knee in a bit closer if it helps you, and extend yourself up and back. One counter stretch that I like is reaching the left leg up high in the sky again. And you can bend your knee and stack your left hip on top of your right. It's a really nice counter pose for our pigeon. So take a breath wherever you are. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog whenever you've taken the counter pose that best suits you. And then inhale, extend right leg up nice and high in the sky. Pigeon pose, second side. Draw your knee forward, ankle to the left. Go ahead and walk yourself on down. Finding the support that you need from your props here, whatever that looks like. Big inhale, heart draws up towards the ceiling. And exhale, lower yourself down. Setting yourself up. And then beginning to draw in that quiet, that receptive, that openness. So our Yin Yoga practice is a lot about clearing out space. Right? Most physical yoga practices, the purpose, or one of the main purposes behind our physical yoga practice, is to clear out space in the body as a form of detoxing and being our most vital self. Right? So as we come into a posture like this, and maybe it's not that comfortable for you, which is totally normal, by the way, but the practice comes from being able to release, right? To clear out that space, from being able to just open up to the posture and not fight it as much. We realize that this is a practice in letting go for us. And sometimes some emotional and mental things will come to the surface as well here. Other forms of energy that we're ready to let go of. So whether it's tightness in your hips or some form of emotion, some form of negative thought pattern that you've been holding on to, whatever it is, what can you let go of here to create more space so you can be your most vital self? Then use your breath to help you let go of that here. Inhale, drawing in light and love and new. Exhale, let go of old and dark, heavy. Create space for you to shine your truth here. One last inhale, breath nice and full. Let it go. And then we'll softly press yourself back up here. Take your time, come back to downward facing dog whenever you're ready. Good. Feeling free. If you like that counter pose on the first side, if you want to extend your right leg up high in the sky, and then exhale, bend your knees, stack your right hip on top of your left. Alternate counter poses just to bicycle pedal out your knees here. So take one more breath wherever you are. Good, and then we'll lower back down onto your knees, big toes together. Take it on back, child's pose. Hips on your heels, arms extended out long. Take a breath. And then let's go ahead and come up to sit on your heels. Go ahead and grab your block. We're going to come to sit, extend your legs out in front of you. So we're going to take a yin variation of seated forward fold. We call it caterpillar in yin yoga. It's not the most relaxing and most comfortable version of this pose, right? It takes a lot of, releasing to find a bit of relaxation in this pose. So I just challenge you to, wherever you are in this posture in your body, just be compassionate to yourself and open up to it. And notice how you open up a little bit more as we spend some more time here. Okay, so it's going to be very similar to the first posture we took, but both your legs are extended out long in front of you. Again, feel free to bend your knees if you need to. Block is going to rest on your knees, and as you exhale, round through your spine and bring your forehead to your block. Now maybe you need both of your blocks stacked one on top of the other here to rest your forehead, and that's perfectly okay. Right? We're supporting and nourishing ourselves. Remember, don't feel the need to press or to pull or to make yourself find a shape that doesn't feel good to you. Once you've found the support, whether you're using one block or two, go ahead and take your hands out to the sides, palms open to the sky. Right? Chin is drawn in towards your chest. Back body is really rounded. Right? And then the work comes of finding the stillness. Right? So can you soften the grip in your hips? Can you soften the grip across your thighs? Can you soften out through the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands? Can you soften your shoulders down your back? And wherever you can consciously create just a little bit more softness, do that. And then focus on your breath. Go ahead and deepen your breath. Bring your hands back up to your block and slowly sit yourself up. Set your block out of the way, bend your knees, come all the way down to lay on your back with your knees up towards the sky. Good. We're going to take a counter pose to that forward fold here, but just take a breath. Feel your spine fully on the mat, and maybe windshield wiper your knees side to side. That always feels nice. Give yourself a little back massage. Yeah. Good. And once you feel ready, bring your knees back up to center. We're going to take a supported bridge pose. So grabbing your block, or your block-like structure, we'll go ahead and press into your heels and inhale, lift your hips up towards the sky. You're going to take your block at whatever level feels best. I like this medium level here. The higher you go, the more intense it is. So you can start baby block, mama block, or papa block. So I like the medium level. And then you're going to place the block right at the crest of your hips, so right at your tailbone. Enough that you feel supported and able to release your hands down by your sides. And then from there you can roll your shoulder blades underneath you, lift your chest up towards the ceiling, and open your throat up just a little bit. Create that space in the back of your neck. And then from here you're allowed to let your body be completely heavy on the block underneath you. Right besides your feet on the floor, there's no muscular energy that you have to use here. Right, let the block help you open up and release here. As we settle into the end of our yin practice together here, let's let our sankalpa come back to the surface of our awareness. What was that intention of the heart that you set for yourself at the beginning of this week? Did you think of your sankalpa throughout the week at all as you went through your day-to-day tasks? Did it make you feel better at all to have an intention that you were living with and breathing around? Did it shine a light on some things that maybe you hadn't noticed before? Using this time, this space for reflection, for integration, time for you to take care of you. And slowly begin to press into your feet. Lift your hips up off the block and gently set it off to the side, letting yourself slowly roll back down onto your spine. Bring both knees in towards your chest and interlace your hands. Just hug your shins in towards your chest and gently rock your low back side to side on the mat here. Allow yourself to settle. Take one more breath. Good. We'll release the feet to the mat. Go ahead and release your arms out wide in a big T shape. As you exhale, just let both knees fall to the left side. Right? You can stack your knees one on top of the other. You can keep them wide, just whatever feels best for you here. Just one final spinal twist here before we come into our rest. So allow your low back to release. Allow your breath to be steady. Allow the muscles of your face to find some softness again. Maybe they lost it. As you inhale, gently bring your knees back up to center. And exhale, take both knees to the right, maybe stacking one on top of the other. Letting your low back release in the opposite direction. Inhale, gently draw your knees back up. And exhale, just let your feet extend out long onto your mat. Heels turn out to the sides, palms open to the sky. Letting yourself fully release into your Shavasana. And softening even out through the tips of your fingers, the edges of your toes, the soles of your feet. Soften the muscles of your forehead and your jaw. Sharpen your ears to the sounds that are around you. Allow yourself to be completely open and receptive to this space, to this moment, to how you feel in this breath. Nowhere else to be, nothing else for you to do. Feeling free to stay in this pose as long as you need. As you feel called to, you can slowly bring some movement into your body and slowly integrate back into your day. Thank you for your practice. Namaste.